Welcome back to 3-Day Weekend. I am back with the Ace. It's on the lift. It's missing a transmission. The transmission is finally done and ready to go back in there. I'm just waiting for someone to come back, help me because it's kind of heavy and holding all these cables up out of the way. But we've got it. It's rebuilt, ready to go. We're going to put it in today. So let's get to it.
It's all yours.
Yeah. It's heavy. We have the engine back in. Now we gotta put our engine transmission mount plates in there. And they only fit one way. If you try to put this on the other side, it doesn't line up. But you could try to put it that way, but see, it doesn't quite reach. And you can kind of see the pattern of where it was. So we're gonna put them in like that. Thin plate on the front, thick plate on the back side. 4 bolts with washers to hold that in. We're not tightening them, just want to get them in position. Because we're going to use our clutch alignment tool here in just a minute. Alright, let's get the other side, do the same thing. Next up is the transmission mount, which goes back in here, but it doesn't quite fit because the transmission's in the way, so maybe we should have put that in before we put these on. You know, so you can kind of pivot it. But I'll get a crowbar under there, see if I can move it just enough to get that to fall into the hole. It's pretty close. See, it's just off by a little bit. I can see it. Okay, gotta go back to the beginning. Take the mounts back out because I can't get the darn transmission mount in there. Oh, there it goes. Alright, we got it. Oh my goodness. Yep, had to take those brackets back off. But we got her. We got her. We got her. I'm just gonna leave all this stuff loose until we get the transmission all lined up. Now we have to get this bolt through there and through that rear transmission mount. That should be easy, right? We need to get close. Lift it. Oh, there, right there, right there. Yeah. Got it. Got it. Got it. Captured. Now, we can go back to these guys. I got her. Putting those in really wasn't that bad, even with that bolt through the engine mount. So they're all lined up. They're all loose. So we can throw on our clutch alignment tool and see if we can get that lined up pretty close. I have the clutch alignment tool on here. It's a little bound up and I can see that the angles aren't right. So to fix it, you gotta change the angle of everything, which I'm gonna do with this crowbar. can actually see when this goes slack right there. See, that's lined up. So I'm going to try to tighten it down in that position. Hey, look at that. That worked. Let me get the other side and see if it's still lined up. Yeah. That looks pretty good. Okay. We'll get this all torqued down, including the one out in the back. We're tightening all these up, 55 foot-pounds. We should be lined up, so if you got any blocks of wood jammed in there, you can pull those out. Next up is the starter. I have that starter sitting right there, but we're not putting that one in. I've got a new one hiding right there, because we've been having starter issues. I just haven't gotten around to do it yet, but it doesn't get any easier than this right here. Shiny. Right about in there. Like close to that. Oh, I think I gotta put that bolt in first. I don't think it'll clear without the, or after you put it in, I don't think you can get that bolt in there. Yeah, it doesn't. Like a glove. Imagine getting that bolt out with this panel on there. That has got to be a pain in the neck, if it's even possible. Yeah. We're gonna get these torqued down. Wires for the starter. We're gonna go up and over the crank. You can actually see a little wear mark on the cylinder head from where that wire's been lined up this whole time. Next up is the shifter linkage. That one's easy enough. Just bolt goes through there. Tighten that linkage up. That gets 8 foot-pounds. Throttle body. Remember this guy? 2 hex bolts. Holding that in there. And we just kind of set it up on top. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Some electrical connectors to plug in, like that one. There we go. I'm missing a harness. That and that and that. Where's that? Oh, is this it? There it is. Yep. There it is. That goes there. This one goes there. Our push pin is broke, but I have replacements, so I'll grab a new one of those. There we go, good as new. And our speed sensor in the back. Oh, come on you. Okay, there we go. That did not click. Looks like it might need a little bit of help. There it goes. Don't want to have our crank position sensor come loose on it. Should be it for the wiring on this side. Just did all that wiring and it's wrong. This has to come up from down between. This is our vent tube. It goes up. I thought that was that from the picture. So let me redo this again. I've been looking at pictures. Some of them show it coming out right through here. Others show them coming down through here. I think I'm gonna run it down through here, but I might change my mind yet. And then it comes up and the push pin goes there. This push pin goes through the air box once it's installed, and that's how it goes. I don't know if I wanna go down or lay it up top. I can't really see a wear mark anywhere for that. So I don't know, I just don't know. Maybe I'll pull it, I'm gonna put it up top. There, I just decided we're gonna put it up top. Ran it over the top. I saw some pictures down below. I don't see any wear marks like it was down there. I don't see wear marks on, oh, there is a wear mark right there. Okay, yeah, so it was definitely sitting right there. Also went out and took a quick look at Dwight out in the barn, same exact machine. Transmission's never been out of that one, and I don't think the low end has been out that I know of. I never did, I did upper end. And it is above here too, so new push pin there. I put a new push pin holder there, which will go into the air box once that's installed, so. There we go, wiring, done, check. Next. Prop shaft time. We're gonna send that in through the front. And in through there, and back, and line it up with the output of the transmission on the other side. I don't like this part. I get to put that roll pin in there. Let's see if it's gonna be an easy one or a hard one. Survey says an easy one. Whew. We're gonna grease this up before we get any further too. Don't want to forget that. I figure at this point it's safe to try to get this clutch cover fed back up through there. Well, that went in a lot easier than I expected. Really thought I'd have to fight that a bit more. I have a bunch of these little bolts and washers to hold it on. Okay, there we go. Now, this duct way up here runs down and it goes to the intake of this right here, and I took that off with two little screws, so I gotta put those back in. These two little screws. So I either have to get a ladder or let the machine down. I got them. Can you see them? That one and that one in the secret hole. It's in there. Trust me. There is one in there. Okay, good viewpoint from up here. But I'm going back down. I'm gonna just throw the clutches back on, but the surfaces are pretty nasty on all of them, so I'm just gonna take some Scotch Brite, brake clean, get those cleaned up a little bit. They might be pitted, but I wasn't having any clutch issues. It was running perfect, but we'll clean them up. I thought I had recorded, I must hit stop on it. I don't know exactly what happened, but I put this on and put that bolt in there. Didn't miss that much. I'm looking up the torque specs for that bolt so we can make sure it's tightened correctly. Found the specs. We're going 45 foot-pounds on this bad boy. That was pretty darn close. This is my official clutch holding tool. Works great. Alright, secondary clutch time. Darn washers came apart again. Gosh darn it. Okay, let's try that. X lined up with X, like so. Washers, everything are in there. Hopefully everything's all lined up. I don't have to deal with the shims. That would be ideal. For the secondary, we're going, what do we got? Driven clutch, 55 foot-pounds. I don't have a way to hold this, so we're going to do it with the impact. Don't hate on me too bad in the comments. But I haven't had a secondary fall off. Let's get the belt on there, and then we should be able to start it up and just make sure everything's lined up. Got our belt. Rule of thumb is you should be able to read that label. So it's facing towards you. Feels good. Shoot, I'm not gonna start it because my air box is not in, and this is a very dusty environment. I think, why don't we put the air box in next? I don't see any reason why we can't. Yep, we're gonna do the air box next. Let's take a look at this thing. We have a hole right here that our crankcase vent is gonna go into. Don't wanna forget that because it's underneath, won't really be able to see it. Intake, this is our intake from the fender. We have that little hole which our push pin for the wiring harness goes in, and this guy. Yeah, so I'm going to take that out and we'll drop her into position. She's in position. See if I can get that bolt over there. I have bolts in there too, so we're good. Bolt, tighten clamp, stick this vent in the hole, and pin the wire harness to the side. I'm sitting here going through, see if there's anything else I missed that I need to put on there before I test it. And I came up with two things. We're not quite ready to test it. First is there's no muffler. I could test it with no muffler, but we're going to put a muffler on there. And the other thing is I didn't put any fluid in here yet. The transmission has no fluid whatsoever. Probably not ideal to test it with no fluid in it. So I'm going to look up how much it takes. We'll get that filled with fluid. I'm going to find the muffler. We're going to put that bad boy on there too. Then we'll test it. Right for the muffler, I found it. This is tricky because there's a slot here that this can go through. So I think I can just push that up and it'll go through the slot. Yeah, let's see if we can do that, but then it's pushing over here. This isn't going to be easy, I'm afraid. Oh, huh? A lot easier than I thought. That did just slide right through the back. That wasn't so bad. Wow, that was easy. Just need to fill her up with fluid. We're good to test. Looked it up, and it says we take about 44 ounces, or just shy of 1,000 milliliters. Which, if my math is correct, it's a quart and a little more. So I already have a little more in this guy, so I'll put the rest of that in there. Thought there'd be more. And we'll get the fresh ones out. And I'm running Polaris AGL back in here. Oh. I had the valve shut off. Looks full to me. Alright, I'm going to fire this up. We basically want to make sure that when it's idling, this is sitting still. That's what will be spinning. And when I do the various gears, this should spin. I put a little white mark on there to help see it. But that should go around. And I just noticed the seal is a little tore up. So I might have to replace that seal later. But you can do that from the outside. I'm not too worried about it right now. That was a lot of lead up for nothing to happen. The battery's disconnected. I totally forgot about the battery being disconnected. Give me a minute. We're going to try that again. Hold on. Let's try this again. It works! I don't know what happened to this thing in its previous life, but I've already replaced this yoke. This is new. Because it was slopping on that input, and I put a new one on there and it was good, but it's moving again. I mean, it can't slip because of the roll pin, but I feel like it's the same thing. I've got the pinion on the front diff is worn down, and I should probably replace that whole thing. I don't know. Because you can see it kind of doing this all the time. I don't like it. But it's not in the cards today. We gotta get this thing back up and rolling. Like I said, it can't slip. It's got a roll pin in it. It's not going anywhere. It'll probably start hitting this frame rail before anything else. That's what it was doing before. So that'll be in the future at some point. We're gonna put the floor pan back in next. Because I love doing it so much. Oops. It is in. Just a lot of screws and push pins. Oh man, look at how rough these kids are to these. That thing is split all the way up. I already fixed it there once. That looks like some metal from fixing it before. I can't keep rocker panels on this machine. Well, what are you gonna do? All right, next up, we gotta put the whole box, set it on here. But I think before we do that, yeah, we have a piece of frame that goes from here to here. We're gonna set that on. Somewhere like that. Remember, our vent hose is gonna come up from the transmission and connect right there. A couple of 13 mils. Hold that bad boy on there. Hey. Wires go up here too. We got that guy. That guy, and that guy. Oh, that one's broke. That's it for those. I'll get a new connector on that. Yeah. Alright, let's find that transmission vent. I don't remember exactly which one it came through, whether it was that one or that one, but this one's a little further from the exhaust. I figured that won't hurt. Alright, I think there's a piece of metal. Oh shoot, the metal might go under this. Let me go find it. Found the piece of metal. It doesn't go under that. It goes over here. Right there. Like that. Let's put the box on. Inserts for the grill. And our fenders can go on too. Phew, we got one. Air box is on. Let's start over here. Oh, push pin. I'm missing that one. I'll get that one. Push pin and a screw and a screw and a push pin and a push pin. 4 screws, 1 in each corner inside, and 2 13mm bolts, and then a push pin and a push pin and a screw and another missing push pin and a push pin and a screw. You see, this had to go under that, but over this, but under that, and over this. Eventually it all settles down and goes into place. Might as well hook our lights back up in here. Which I thought I could do with one hand, but I was wrong. Oh, nope, I was right. Aha! Got it. One hand. The left hand. Oh yeah. And then that little wire guy clips onto here. Like that. Okay. Rear box is on. The next step is the cage, but I don't think I can lift up the cage by myself. Yeah, let's pause here and think about this. Special thanks to Uncle Jerry for helping me put that cage back on there. Now that it's on, put the front storage on. Firewall. Seat bracket. We're gonna throw a door in here. A couple of bolts hold that in. Alright, I've been working on this for a while. I've taken the door off. 4 screws hold that off. You don't have to. I did. Trying to get this in. I had to take this screw out, this screw out, this screw out, this screw out, and this push pin, so that the fender we put on earlier can pop out. And now this can move enough that you could stick this in, pull it out, and line that up. Like that. What a pain in the neck that is. Now I gotta try to line up this thing again. Put it all back together. Nothing I like more than putting things together twice. Oh, now see, that's not there. That's gotta go behind. No, but not a but. That's a pain in the neck. I seem to have a vague memory of that being a pain in the neck from a time before. Maybe with Dwight when I did the engine the first time. Yeah, so. Alright, re-put this darn fender back together. Door! Check! I got to do the same thing one more time. If you have these, we can put them back on. Gotta reattach our mud flap slash fender slash rocker panel. Man, they're so rough. Well, it'll hold. I've been replacing the push pins on these with these little nuts and bolts I picked up from Home Depot, Harbor Freight, something. Just because the push rivets can't last. They're running over stuff they should be running over. I don't know what they're doing out there. Kids. But with these, they don't pop out and fall off. We've lost them on the trails before. I don't like that, so this is what goes in there. I'm putting the wheel hub back on. Obviously, we put the washer, put the nut back on, real tight, torque spec here, and a new cotter pin in there. But we tested it earlier. Remember, I started it, and if you start it, you have to push the brake, and if you push the brake and you don't have the caliper installed on the rim, then it pushes your pistons all the way out. So I had to clamp it, get that piston pushed back in so that I can get the brake pads to fit around my caliper. See that? Alright, a couple 15mm bolts, put that back together. Time to put the rear end back together. This is exactly the same procedure on both sides. We're going to throw the axle in first, making sure it clips in there real good. And I always clean the ends and put never sees on there so they'll come out easier next time. Then we're going to put the hub assembly back on there, bolt on top, bolt on the bottom, torque those down to spec. Then we're going to put the wheel hub back in there. Then we're going to push these pistons back on the calipers and put those on, and those are held on by two 15mm bolts. Then we put the tire back on. Oh, don't forget the axle nut and the cotter pin. Forgot to mention that. Tires back on, that side's done, repeat on the other side. We are getting really close. It's looking like a machine. I'm running through my mind and a checklist trying to think of anything I might have forgotten, and I forgot this, our crankcase vent. I tried pushing it into the airbox. I can't push it, so I'm gonna have to take the lid off and try to pull it in maybe. And then I was working on this side, which is just about done, and realized that, oh, we forgot the clutch cover. Kind of want to put that on before we go for a rip. So I'm gonna grab that and put it on. Let's test it, shall we? And the final test, mark. Hey! It does everything that it should do. I'm gonna go on a test drive later, but I have people coming over and I'm a mess. This took pretty much all day minus an hour break for lunch. I started at 9, it's 5 now. That's a big job. That Pro, you'll see that in another video, that took an hour to get the transmission out. I haven't put it back in yet. I'm waiting on a part, but this is a pain in the neck. I don't want to do a transmission job on one of these again. That was awful. But I do thank you for coming along with me on this journey, especially all the Patreons. If you go check that out, you can support the channel there or join the YouTube channel. Just click the join button right there underneath the video. I really appreciate the support from everybody. It keeps the wheels turning, keeps me going on these projects. Everything I do is on a playlist, whether it's the Pro or the Aces or some other machines, the excavator, the dozer, what have you. If that's what you like, go check out those playlists, watch some more videos over there. Really appreciate it. But thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll come and join me here for another video on 3-Day Weekend.